hello and welcome to the Ireland Rugby Social. Big win for Ireland against Wales this evening. Stressful one. Mike McCarthy, Conor Murray with me. Mike, first of all, how was it?
Yeah, well, job done. Round 4, bonus points, so I think we have to be happy. But I think maybe we all got a little bit of confidence after that incredible performance in round 3 against England. You know, it's really hard to get to that same emotional level that Ireland got to against England with that performance, and you just can't do that week in, week out. So, plus, you know, credit to Wales. They are improving. They nearly beat Scotland last week. They were unlucky to miss out with that try they conceded in the last minute, but they came with a real intent, physicality. It was edgy, it was niggly, a few little scraps going on. So look, Wales are definitely improving. So I think, look, it's the great thing is it's really exciting going into round 5, chance for a triple crown, and we'll see what Italy do tomorrow against England and Scotland. What's the other one? Scotland and France. Yeah.
We'll hear from Andy Farrell later in the pod. He called the game good old-fashioned test match, and it was. Wales were good value.
Yeah, I think. Not that we got carried away, but after the England performance, like in the crowd, you could sense people just expecting Ireland to come out and put a score up on Wales. But you said a credit to Wales, like they were really, really good. They put no one in the. I think no one in the breakdown was key. Like they just filled the field and made it really hard to play against. And I think like a bonus point win. You know, we got a chance for a triple crown next weekend against Scotland, and you know who knows what happens tomorrow in those games. I struggle to see France losing, but you never know. Depends what Scotland show up. So. Overall, good day out, hard ground out test match victory.
They've been whinging about the change room, haven't they, France? Did you see that?
Really?
Galtier saying the change room's too small for them.
It is tiny, yeah. Murrayfield is tiny.
But Townsend said it's the same size that every other away team has had for 20 years.
So they're in their heads
some
already.
mind games going on
they're
already.
In their heads already.
But,
Maybe.
Well, imagine what's going to be like the Scotland week. We'll get to that. It's coming up this week. It's going to be a lot of talking, always is. Let's break down this game then. Great start for Ireland. It looked like it could have been potentially a cricket score early on. Ireland looked very good first 10.
Yeah, I think the difference between this game and the England game, when you look at the England game, we were winning all the contestable kicks. We were winning all the 50-50s. We were winning all the scraps, and you could see the lads were trying and the intent was there, but it wasn't quite clicking. You know, some of the play, some of the phases they put together, really good, but the last pass wasn't sticking. A few passes going into touch, a few passes going behind that last pass, and Jack Conan's in the first half was disallowed. Almost his second try was disallowed, but just things weren't quite clicking like they were against England. So you know, I don't know what you put.
I think the contestable game is interesting, and obviously it was a big part of the game when I played it. Like it's a certain amount of it is luck. Like the lads were like the kicks were kicking actually was probably a little bit down. Like on both sides there was a lot of short kicking, but the contest in the air is sometimes a bit of luck, isn't it? Like the scraps. I know you can train to have lads in and around the area, but sometimes it's literally just, I know, talk about a bounce of a ball, a rugby ball. It's hard to know where it's going to go, and Wales seemed to get the upper hand in that, and then Ireland couldn't get into their flow as much as they wanted to, and maybe the lads, just from the outside looking in, wanted to like play exactly how they played against England, which was like nearly a complete performance. And then when it wasn't really coming off, we saw those passes behind and forcing that play to the edge. So maybe just getting a little bit itchy and wanting it to look like England again. But there were still good green shoots out of that game, and it was hard fought.
One thing I picked up in co-coms, like obviously I'm not a coach, but it looks like the intent to carry hard for Ireland is there to see. Lads are offering themselves up. They're running hard. They're running direct. But you know, it seems like it's changed. The picture's changed slightly because it looks like we're looking for bodies to run into. It looks like we're trying to run over the top of them, which is good. That's how South Africa play. But are we allowed to do demonstrations on the podcast?
Yeah.
But
so
it looks like they're running in like that. Whereas this is going to look ridiculous, isn't it? But normally you normally use a bit of footwork, try and get a soft shoulder to make a bit of a half break, get your hands free. But it looks like we're lining up to run into bodies, win the collision. Obviously, that's the aim. But that's how South Africa play, and they do it really well. Like Ireland do it really well. But when you come up against like the Frances and the South Africas, that tactic maybe isn't as
Look, I think like talking about trying to play like or perform like we performed against England. Against England, you saw it in the first few minutes when we just carried into them, and it's so basic, but like they just carried over the top of them, and they had like this ridiculous intent, and it didn't stop for 80 minutes. And I think we got to credit Wales with that, because they didn't put many people in the breakdown, and they just had numbers on feet. Then there was a lot of double hits. Like Tyke Byrne played well, but he had to front up so many times and get
James
hit.
Ryan.
Get hit with 2 Welsh lads hitting him. So there was a bit of that. So that's always a work on, or a point of difference for Ireland is choosing the right pass and finding soft shoulders and talking about taking space. So.
What about Rhys Carey's try?
When are we going to talk about that?
Sorry,
that was
possibly the highlight of the Six Nations. It's been a great tournament.
Highlights reel.
Outside the 22.
Yeah.
Outside.
Outrageous.
It was a step, a fend, a dummy, and then the pace to finish. And he's like 20 stone.
The smile on his face as he was
as he was
away.
Going it was like Chariots of Fire, like head back. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, he's powerful and dynamic, isn't he?
Yeah. He's done that. Like, you've seen him with Saracens and stuff and Wales before. Like, he has that ability, but from outside the 22 is ridiculous.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Wales deserved something from that game for all the effort and desire and the heart, and but ultimately they come away with nothing, and it's a tough place to be for them, isn't it?
But they're on the way up, aren't they?
It's like 2 big weeks for Welsh rugby, given where they were.
Because I came through there and met a few of the coaches outside the Welsh bus there, and they're fairly positive because like the last 2 games they've come, just performance-wise, they're showing signs of improvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something the Six Nations kind of always delivers. Like people were, I think the bookie said Wales 27-point winners here today. Like Ireland only scored 27.
It was plus 25.
Plus 27.
I think I predicted 42-17. Mystic Mike was wrong.
I had a similar prediction as well.
That's the beauty of the Six Nations, isn't it? Everyone can beat everyone, and like Italy tomorrow, they could turn over England. England have made 9 changes. Scotland could turn over France at Murrayfield. So. It goes down to the wire, doesn't it?
In terms of the changes and some of the faces that came in, Jacob Stockdale, he was smiling over the line as well when he got his try.
Yeah, a long time coming. Yeah. I was asked about who you're looking out for, and I think Jacob, a lot of people are, he got a chance in the first game, and then he wasn't selected, and he was back in, and some people were questioning that, and I've seen Jacob. Obviously the 2018 season he had, and that's a long time ago, but like that's the ability
that's
he
10
has.
Years
you know
nearly,
what I mean? I know, but he's been in camp since then, and he's been showing that extra shit, Mike.
We're getting old, Mike.
So I've seen him wait for this chance, and like I've seen him in training and impress Andy Farrell and like do his thing and be really patient behind Lowy, and like I bigged him up before the game, and I wanted him to show up today and kind of prove a point, and he did. Like he did a great take in the air. With that aerial battle we talked about, and obviously his try and a few other moments as well. So I think he's kind of put another foot forward with the squad.
It's good seeing 7 Ulster players in the squad, because I think you look back as recent as November. I think was it the Australia game or one of the games? There was not one Ulster player in the match day 23. So you got Nick Timoney starting there at 7. It's his 10th game, but his first start. 30 years old. He's been at Ulster for 10 years. So great to see him getting a run. And that's something that's changed from when I played, because that's something Farrell brought in, isn't it? Where when it's a first cap, a 50th or 100th, he gets the family in, because I saw Jamison Gibson Park's wife and 3 kids, and the family from New Zealand were on the virtual screen, and Nathan Doak's parents, grandparents
were
so it's pretty special.
That's a lovely story. Because Neil Doak, his dad, former Ulster head coach, he sat on the bench for Ireland.
That's it, 2003, wasn't it?
Never get a cap, so that's huge for the family. How do you think he did?
For him. Really well, and I think it was nice that he came on for Jamison with a HIA early and not to get it out of the way, but come on and have that moment, and then when he could come back off the pitch, sit down for a while and be like, I've done that, and then he gets to come on again, obviously, and do well. He did really well when he came on, especially that little spell at the start when Jamison had a head knock. He did really well. Not that he didn't make mistakes. He looked to add tempo, and he had a couple of kicks that were on the money. So that's all you're hoping for in your first half, just not survive, but it goes pretty well. So he did well.
Does he offer something a little bit different to Gibson Park? Is he a good mix, or do you see Craig Casey coming back in? Because that's the next point we're going to go to now.
They're going to be
looking ahead.
That. I
more stuff about the backs, is it?
Yeah, you can relax for a minute. I do think Craig's playing really well this season, so I think he'll come back in. But Nathan is also having a really, really good season for Ulster, and I've watched him for a few years now, and this seems to be the season where he's just kind of taken hold of it and backed himself. And obviously with Cooney gone from Ulster, he's obviously playing a lot more regularly and getting more game time and more exposure, and he's flying it. He brings something different. Yeah, definitely. Like his kicking game, and he looks incredibly fit. Like a lot of his tries he gets are off support lines. He's a lot of people, like we were upstairs talking about it, a lot of people are asking, he's a kicking 9, but he brings a lot more to the game than that as well.
Do you think Ireland at times tried to play a bit too much?
I think so, yeah. I think they, like we said, they came off the back of that round 3 game where everything was sticking. They played with real confidence. They were so accurate. I think against England, Ireland scored, was it 4.22 points per entry to England's 22? And yeah, nice. Sorry, I'm like the Rain Man, sorry. But yeah, no, look, they were right to be confident after that performance, but maybe a little bit too confident to begin with. And you saw some of the passes, some of the, you know, the 50-50s, the offloads that weren't really there, and you know, when they were building momentum. So I think they played, yeah, with the right spirit and wanted to identify where the space was and execute and get the ball there. But at times it was lacking a little bit, wasn't it?
Except for Rob Bellican's offload that we need to talk about.
Oh, was that the back door?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I did one of those ones, 2012.
But watching big tackle after that.
Yeah, big tackle. Yeah, but he seems to be like settling in. Like that's a sign of a player who's comfortable in the jersey now. Like, you know, he's had injury and things like that, and he's getting a good run of form this year, and like he just seems like a player who's kind of relishing it now, and he feels good on on a stage like that.
Mike, this is your time to shine. Scrum issues again. Can you take
yeah.
us inside that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we got the first scrum penalty, didn't we? Woo! Sorry, we got a bit excited. We got the first scrum penalty. Tom O'Toole set the scene, painted a good picture to the referee. Then I think it was from about 50-60 minutes. I mean, Tyke Furlong, I've never seen him look so angry or frustrated.
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I'd say there was a few words. Yeah,
but
good niggle.
There's good niggle. It's good to see that. And then, you know, a few scrums later, there you could see them all chirping at each other. It was brilliant to see. But yeah, with all the changes that happened, and yeah, the scrum again is a bit of a question mark. And going forward, look, the massive positive aside from the scrum is you look back to round 1 and where we were missing 15, 16 players unavailable, and the depth we've built up now. You know, Jeremy Lockman coming in doing a great job for rounds 1, 2, and 3. Tom O'Toole today. Yeah. Nathan Doak stepping up. You know, look at the guys who aren't even playing. Izuchukwu, Dogbu, all those names who've come and delivered and done really well. The depth chart is really building towards the next World Cup. But definitely the scrum is a concern, because England, it was a concern. Today a few times it was a concern. So I think that the scrum is the main one to improve going forwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were going to add something.
I was going to say something there. Just
scrum
the depth chart that you're talking about, because before the Six Nations, people were questioning the depth chart and who's going to come in, and now we're after round 4, and now we're all talking about like, geez, there's loads of players in all these positions. So it's just funny how the perception outside of the group would be, and then inside, obviously, you know, Andy has a plan to blood these players.
It feels like a really interesting selection this week.
Yeah, you just got to go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough calls. Obviously, it's Scotland at home with a Triple Crown on the line. It's a huge game, silverware at stake in Dublin.
You see Bundy or Robbie coming in, or I mean, I know they're backing.
They're backing, they're backing.
But sure, the lads are going so well, aren't they?
Lads are going so well, but there'll be tight calls, you know, like Nick Timoney, Josh, etc. You know, the front row. Like you talked about, the scrum is going to be really important. You got to get your strongest team together. So yeah, next weekend the selection is going to be this is
like you start Joe McCarthy, that kind of.
Yeah, you could. You don't know. So but it'll be the strongest possible team. It'll be what Andy feels is the best, like obviously the best 15-23 to go and do a proper job, because there's silverware in the line. You know what I mean? You're not going to be, not that he was experimenting, but there's going to be, you know, there's a lot to play for next week.
And then there's Tommy O'Brien as well, because he came on last week for James Lowe, did an unbelievable job, and then he's not in the 23 this week. But then you know, Stockdale's come in and he's had a good game. And, So it's a good place to be, I think.
Yeah.
Triple Crown on the line. How will this week feel in the camp? Different?
Like there'll be certain aspects of tonight that are going to be disappointed with, obviously, with the, you know, some of the loose play and things like that. But going into, you know, Andy will talk in the dressing room about, you know, you got over the line, a tough Wales side who came out with a point to prove, and they're on an upward curve. But going into this week against Scotland, obviously everyone knows we like playing Scotland with something on, especially with something on the line.
Why?
I don't know why. It's just there's a bit of history there. So like it's a beautiful game to go into, like with a bit of silverware on the line. And again, probably a little point to prove. You know, they would have liked to play a little bit better tonight, and you know, they get another chance next week, which is great.
How much are you looking forward to next week?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, it's it's nice we don't have another break, because the Six Nations is normally 2 games, week off, 1 game, week off, 2 games. So. Yeah, a bit of momentum. Yeah, well, it's like I said at the start, it's great to have some silverware to play for the lads. And you know, when you think like just the comparison of that first half against France versus that first half against England, even that first half today against Wales, is two kind of different ends of the spectrum. So, yeah, loads to play for, loads to be happy about. It's all pretty positive. Yeah, there's plenty to work on from tonight, but you know, you can see to the level we got to against England in round 3. So look, the sky's the limit, I suppose.
Different style of game when you have to face Scotland and Finn Russell pulling the strings.
Yeah, I don't think much changes in attack, but defensively, it's a completely different challenge you're going to face with the way they play, with the way he likes to play. So unpredictable. So, yeah, it's a complete box of tricks, but a box of tricks. I think Finn needs a shout out in terms of, like, he looks like a complete 10 at the minute. You know, a world class operator. Where, as I suppose in times gone by, you probably would have targeted him a little bit, but now I think he's just a complete player, and he can dominate a game, especially the way Scotland want to play. So in terms of the width they play with and the athletes that they have, defensively it's going to be a big focus this week. For the last few years going in against Scotland, it's obviously you focus on your attack and how you want to play, but defensively it's a big pressure game. Yeah,
it seems, well, I don't want to give them any cannon fodder, but it's their record's pretty poor, isn't it? Let's be honest, against Ireland for a number of years. Whereas, you know, you look at Scotland against England, they beat them loads recently, but it's you know, mentally that's something Scotland are going to have to get over, because look, history doesn't lie. They've lost a hell of a lot of games.
I think the last time they won here was Croke Park.
True,
was that Dan Parks was playing, wasn't he? Kick to drop goal.
He had a masterclass,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think
rivalry since then.
I think the Wales game's probably good preparation for defending, because tell me if I'm wrong here, but Wales, although their results have been poor, they like to attack from their own half, their own 22, whereas a lot of teams are pragmatic in their own half and try and exit and safely and securely. So at least they got a test of teams running it out from their own half on their exit.
Yeah, and Scotland bring that to another level, obviously, the way Finn Russell and the players around him can play. So.
Can we put you in the spot to pick a team here for next week for the crowd?
No.
I'll do the back seat. Oh no.
Going between the two, yeah.
God.
You did 4. So are you go 1? You started 1.
Okay, number 1. So I'm going to go Tig Furlong, Dan Sheehan. Is Dan Sheehan in?
Well, you were just going to do number 1. I was going to do number 2.
Oh, sorry. Are we doing like that? Okay, yeah. Okay. You go first. I'll go hooker.
No. Who did you say, Lou said?
Not telling you again.
You.
I think Tom O'Toole goes again.
Okay, Dan Sheehan.
Tig Furlong.
My son, McCarthy.
4.
Joe.
Big Joe.
Okay. I'm going to put James Ryan in.
James Ryan. Okay.
I think you need James Ryan.
Caelan Doris 8. Tig Burn 6. Josh Van der Fleer 7.
You're not getting it. Right, okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Anyway,
you do 2 or 3 now.
Jamo. Jack Crowley. Left wing, Jacob.
Tommy O'Brien.
Ooh. 12. You can't object to my selection.
McCloskey.
Nice.
Just push the boat out there.
Ring Rose.
Who's left? 15.
Right.
Jamie Osborne.
Who's 14?
Who's Balakoon?
Yeah.
Jamie Osborne.
Nice. Yeah.
Glad you boys aren't picking the team. Will Ireland win the Triple Crown?
Yes.
Yeah. The score's going to be 27-12. Oh no, it'd be close than that. It'd be quite close. Yeah. I just don't want to give them any cannon fodder to stick them in the change room.
Yeah. I'm going to go 30-12.
Okay. Yeah. But a special occasion, you know, it's quiet now, but this time next week, it's going to be rocking, isn't it?
Roaring again. Yeah, the atmosphere was good today, wasn't it?
It was good.
So people, it'll be, especially with something on the line, it's going to be.
Scotland they have to deliver, don't they? Because you know they lose against Italy, and then they have the massive win against England, and you know for Scottish rugby, and they're a quality side, and
they'll be under pressure as well, won't they?
Big time.
Players, management, everything. So there's a lot of subtitles to this.
Teed up beautifully.
Do I look fat in this jacket? Or?
Yeah, a little bit.
Definitely not. No.
Okay.
You practice your footwork, and the wee soft shoulder thing.
Can we take can we cut the demo?
Sorry. Keep that in, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely staying in, and we will hear from the Ireland camp, starting with the head coach Andy Farrell.
I mean, we need to celebrate the fact that Nathan Doak's made his first cap. I think it's a fantastic story. He's for such a young lad. He's a lot of URC caps under his belt, and I wouldn't say he's been patient because he's been desperate to get into the room. But once he's got into the room, I thought he was excellent. When he came on for Jamison when Jamison got a cut on the knee there, I thought he was really composed, and the same again when he came on at the end. He was really composed. His kicking was excellent, and his passing was excellent as well. So he's done really well to perform like that in his debut, and he'll continue to compete to stay in the room. I've no doubt. And then obviously Jamison's 50th. It's nice to get the win so that we can celebrate with them together, and then we need to make the best of the extra day as far as recovery is concerned, and then we bounce into what's going to be a special week for us. It is playing against Scotland. They'll be relishing coming here, I'm sure, but it doesn't get any bigger than next week for us.
It was a little bit scrappy, wasn't it? But ultimately, I think a win in the end and a bonus point was what we were looking for. So, I think we have to hand a bit of credit to Wales. I think they were pretty good tonight, and stuck it to us like we knew they would, and made a proper test match out of it. We want to, we're an attacking team, and if teams give us space, we want to be able to attack it. And I think probably tonight I probably overdone it. As game drivers, we probably played a little bit more than we needed to, certainly in our own area and through the middle half of the pitch. So there's plenty to look at.